Morning prayer with Dan Thomas. What is going on? I hope you are feeling pumped. I hope you're feeling hyped up this morning. Guess what? It is Thriving Thursday. You know what that means. Today we're giving you practical principles for life, relationships, and business for the word. And because I'm so dedicated right now to seeing you get what you said that God had for you, there's some practical principles that I want to share with you today, but I need you to do something for me. I need you to stop what you're doing right now, and I need you to love the video, and I need you to share the video right now. What we're getting ready to serve today, what I got on the agenda today is going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. So you could change someone's life today in 5 to 7 seconds. You never know the ramifications or the implications that a simple point and click can have. Someone could start a business. They could become an entrepreneur. There could be something that could save a person's life. It can encourage them. It could stop something negative that they were going to do to someone else or even to themselves. You don't know. And so we have the power right in the point and click. Just that simple. Being a digital evangelist and ambassador and spreading this knowledge, you help us get the word out there. So just simply point and click and share. And then if you click share again, you can actually send that in Messenger. You can copy that link. You can text it to someone. You can start tagging people in the comments right now. That's what you can do. So we appreciate that. Let's get the word out. The information is free. If it's going to help you, it's going to help someone else. So if you'll help me with that, if you will flood your timelines with it, everyone that's listening to this today, thank you for waking up. If you're on the West Coast, thank you for waking up at 4:30. If you're on the East Coast, thank you for waking up at 7:30. If you're in Central Time where I am, thank you for waking up at 6:30. So let's get into it. Let's get the blood flowing. Let's get the brain going. Now, if you want to know why I do Thriving Thursday, on Mondays, we have First Five Prayer. On Tuesdays, right now, I'm replaying some testimonies from last year to encourage you in your faith. Wednesdays, we get into the Word. Currently, we're on a series called The Ministry of Holy Spirit. On Thursdays, I want to get into your life and into your business, into your relationships, so that you can start living the abundant life that Jesus promised. Not too long ago, and I'll say this every time, I was driving down the street and the Lord began to ask me questions. He said, listen, you're made in my likeness and my image. And this is the way it came to me. I'm made in the image and the likeness of God. The God that I'm made in the image and the likeness of lives on the inside of me. The God that lives on the inside of me knows all things, which means that he knows everything that was known, is known, or will ever be known. If that same God that knows everything lives on the inside of me, then that means I have access to knowledge at all times. Why is it that I know so very little about myself? David said, I'm fearfully and I'm wonderfully made. Fearfully means to stand in awe of. When was the last time you stood in awe of yourself? The wonderful, incredible, indubitable creation that you are. The word wonderfully means distinct and apart. You don't have to be a cheap copy. You don't have to be a facsimile of anyone else. God's made you to be in awe, and God's made people for people to be in awe of you, and he's made you unique and distinct. He wants you to discover that. Remember, God has not hidden anything from you. He's hidden everything in you for you, and you can discover it. And that is what I'm here to do on Thriving Thursdays, to shift you from what you can do, what you've adapted to what you were created to do. I help leaders, influencers, entrepreneurs, and coaches have mind-shifting aha moments to recognize what I call their Godfidence. How do I do that? By unlocking their being, their blueprint, and their brilliance. So you're in the right place today, okay? You're in the right place. Here's what we're going to talk about today. It's going to be good. So I want you to take your notes. Always bring notes, always bring a pad, always bring a pen, because this stuff is going to help you. Today, we're going to talk about 5 things you need to know to get what you want. Now, you may have seen this appear in my stories. If you follow me on Instagram at Dan A. Thomas Jr. or anywhere else, you may have seen this. Now I'm getting ready to get into it. We're going to get into this. 5 things you need to do to get what you want. It's early. It's the first week of the second month. You haven't lost it all. Don't let anybody discourage you. Don't let anybody tell you that the year is already gone. No, it's gonna be work. It's gonna may even take you longer than it takes someone else. But so what? Are you ready? I just need some people just to type in the comments, I'm ready. I need to see that right now so that we can get on with this. I'm ready because we're coming with purpose today. We're coming with clarity and articulation today. I'm ready. All right. Cool. Let's get into it. Number one, keep going. Keep going. Let me go ahead and say this. What's the point of going through all that pain and don't even stay in it to see what's on the other side? What was all the pain about? What was all the struggle about? What were all the obstacles about? What were all the impediments about? What were all the blockades about? What were all the things that tried to stop me internally and externally? I owe it to myself to keep going. I've got to see what this is all about. Why quit now and not get anything from this pain? Did you know some people go through without a clue? They absolutely do. Some people go all the way through something and they're none the wiser for going through it. If I've got to endure, if I have to deal with these things, I'm going to get something out of it. Keep going. It's worth it. There's something on the other side of this. And I want you to remember what Galatians 6:9 says. It says, and let us not grow weary while doing good, for in due season we shall reap if we do not lose heart, or if we do not faint. Now, what does that say to me? He said, don't grow weary while doing good, meaning that the temptation or the opportunity to grow weary will happen if I'm doing the right thing. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. The temptation to quit will come. That's how you know you're going in the right direction, regardless of whether you see the progress you want to see right now. Let's think about this for a minute. Come on. Let's think about this for a minute. If I want the temptation to quit, even that's a sign that bad things are leaving me and good things are coming, because the bad mindset that's trying to stop me. Why would you even be trying to stop me if I wasn't going in the right direction? Did you hear what I just said? What's the whole point of getting an entire brigade to come against my mind and its faculties if I'm not going in the right direction? I know the level of attack in your life proves to you your value. Keep going. And here's a promise. And let us not grow weary while doing good, for in due season we shall reap if we don't lose heart. It's coming, but you got to keep going. It's coming, but you've got to keep going. It's coming, but you got to keep going. Here's the second thing that you need to do. Stay in your lane. Why? There's no traffic there. I'm going to let that sink in. I'm going to let that just begin to simmer just a little bit. Stay in your lane. There's no traffic there. Stop comparing and contrasting yourself to other people. That has nothing to do with you. Listen to 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 10. I'm pulling these principles from the word. God has given each of you a gift from his great variety of spiritual gifts. Use them well to serve one another. Do you have the gift of speaking? Then speak as though God himself were speaking through you. Do you have the gift of helping others? Do it with all the strength and energy that God supplies. Then everything you do will bring glory to God through Jesus Christ. All glory and power to him forever and ever. Amen. Listen, you don't have to worry about what anybody does, because when you do what you do, that's when the world is going to feel who you are. You know, I lived in Oklahoma City. I was born in Wichita, Kansas, but I lived in Oklahoma City from the ages of 14 to 24, then came back at 32. And so it's just came back at 34. I'm sorry. I came back at 34 and then lived there up until almost 2 years ago when we moved to Fort Worth, Texas. Downtown in Oklahoma City, there's a church called Calvary Church. A law office now owns it. But the reason why that church is historic, and they've done some things to it to preserve it, even though they run their law office out of there, the reason why it's an important place is because during the heat of the civil rights movement, and they didn't have a leader that they had chosen yet, Martin Luther King Jr. actually got the call to pastor Calvary Baptist Church in downtown Oklahoma City. This is a very little known fact unless you live in Oklahoma City. Most people don't know this. And he came to preach, and he was seriously thinking about it. While he was in Oklahoma City, he got a call to lead the civil rights movement. A fork in the road presented himself with two choices. He could pastor this church. He was gifted to do it. He knew the word. It was a good congregation. It would have been a good match. We would have heard about Martin Luther King because he was a great preacher. He was a great orator. He knew his lesson. He knew what he was doing. But we would not have heard about him as much because although that was good, it wasn't the right niche for him. The civil rights movement was his lane. And now his name will never be forgotten. You may be at a fork in the road. Choose the authentic you. Choose the thing that you feel pulled towards, that you're magnetized to, that you have more of a passion for. You can only have authority when there's authenticity. You need to write that down. You can only have authority when there's authenticity. Notice what he said. He's helping us here. God has given each of you a gift from his variety of spiritual gifts. Use your gift. Use your talent. Use your skill. Use your craft. That's where you're going to be most powerful. I know it's amazing when other people do their thing. It's all inspiring when other people do their thing, but you got to learn how to do your thing, because there's a group of people out there that are waiting for you to do your thing, and they're not assigned to anyone else but you. And you've got to do that. You got to do what you do. And that's where you're going to find the most fulfillment. That's where you're going to find the most happiness. That's where you're going to find the most joy. When you don't worry about how visible you are, when you don't worry about how much fanfare it's going to garner, don't you want to do what you were designed to do? What you were designed to do. You were designed to do. Stay in your lane. There's no traffic there. Here's number 3. Compare yourself to your yesterday, not someone else's today. Social media has really it's really almost ruined us, because we think that the lives that we see online are oftentimes the real lives that people live on a daily basis, or we see their wins and we never see their losses. We don't see their failures. We don't see the times that they think they're not going to make it. You know, one time somebody inboxed me a few years ago and they said, "Can you help me?" And I was like, "Well, what do you need? Tell me how you keep it together all the time." I immediately sent back a host of laughing emojis. I said, "You think I have it together all the time?" No, no, sir. I don't have it together all the time. I want to make sure that when I come before people, I'm coming before with a spirit of excellence. But there are many days I miss it. There are many days that I'm struggling with the same things that you're struggling with, wondering if it's going to work, wondering if I'm going to be able to do this on time, wondering if anybody's feeling me, wondering if you go through those things. But at the end of the day, I'm Dan Thomas. I can only be better than the Dan Thomas from yesterday. I can't be better than someone else's today. That's not my lane. That's not my life. That's not my calling. That's not my assignment. That's not my skill. That's not my gift. And many people try to do something that they see someone else doing because of the response that person gives, and they don't even have the same gifting. They don't even have the same skill. They don't even have the same talent, and they're failing at something they were never supposed to succeed at. That's why they're failing, not because they're not gifted, not because they're not talented, but because they're doing something that they see someone else doing. And you should get inspiration from people. You should want to emulate someone in many ways, but you can't be them. There was only one them. And at all of the trillions upon trillions upon trillions upon trillions of people that have ever lived upon the earth, there's only going to be that one somebody. Get into you. Find out who you are. Find out what you can do. Find out what you're most gifted for, and compare yourself to your yesterday, not somebody's today. You know, when I thought about this, I thought about 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 12. He says, "For we dare not class ourselves or compare ourselves with those who commend themselves. But they, measuring themselves by themselves and comparing themselves among themselves, are not wise." Because that's their lane. You can't fully supplant someone else's life on yours. We can learn things from other people, but your life is your own. Their life is their own. I guarantee you, it's not sacrilegious. It's not humanistic. If you get into you and what God called you to do or who he made you to be, you'll develop that Godfidence. You'll begin to unlock your being, your blueprint, and your brilliance. You won't be stuck. You'll walk right into that abundant life because you walked right in the door that was designed for you. Here is number 4. Be patient. Mhm. Be patient. Be patient. I was having a talk Sunday with my health coach, and I just want you to hear this. And I said, man, I looked at the pictures, before and after pictures, and I'm kind of discouraged. I'm kind of disappointed. Obviously some positive things have happened, but I didn't get to where I wanted to get within the time allotted. And he said this. He says, well, did you get where you are overnight? And I said, of course not. I know that. He says, adjust your expectation. He says, I knew when you sent me the pictures, you just need to go a little bit longer. He says, when you're judging and you're comparing yourself to other people and you think that you should arrive at the same time that they do, you're putting things into the equation that may not fit the puzzle of your life. And what you end up doing is what people do when they can't find that one puzzle piece. They end up forcing that into somewhere that it's not supposed to be. There's a story of a man who had to have emergency surgery because something had happened inside of his nostrils that was disallowing him to breathe. And that thin tissue that's there, they needed some over that, but it had been burned off by a very, very bad tragedy. And they found some similar tissue in his ear that they could substitute in his nose. They grafted that from his ear and put it in his nose. The surgery worked perfectly. Amazing. Surgery worked perfectly. Everybody was like, yes, yes, yes. 2.5 years went by. He started having breathing trouble again. Well, what they noticed is that when they went in there, they said the actual DNA of the tissue that was grafted from his ear and put into his nose never forgot that it was an ear. And it started to grow like an ear and operate like an ear in his nose, again, obstructing the airways, causing him not to be able to breathe. And every few years, they have to go and shave it down. Why? Because that skin tissue will never forget why it was made. What am I saying? What am I saying? You're never going to forget. Your body, your mind, your soul, your spirit is never going to forget what God intended for you. And you don't have time. And it's not even what you should do to shave yourself down over and over and over again, living a life that doesn't belong to you. That causes you to be impatient many times because we're looking at someone else's life and it's not the one that was designed for us. This is what James 1:2-4 says. It's one of my favorite passages of scriptures. It says, my brethren, count it all joy when you fall into various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience. But let patience have its perfect work, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. When you are ruled by patience and not by anxiety and not by worry, you understand I'm on a path. I'm in a process and things take time, but I'm leveraging time by continuing to do the right things. I can do nothing but win. I can do nothing but win. Be patient. Be patient. Here's the last one. Distract your distraction with the desire of your destiny. Distract your distraction with the desire of your destiny. So instead of being distracted by the distraction, become a distraction to the distraction with the desire of your destiny, the burden on your heart, what you want the most, what your passion is. Use that to distract the distraction. Oh, is this good to anybody today? Is this good to anybody today? This is gold. This is gold. This is going to help you. When I thought about this, I said, where is this in the word? So I went to Colossians 3. It says, chapter 3, verse 1, if you then were raised with Christ, seek those things which are above, where Christ is, sitting at the right hand of God. Set your mind on things above, not on things on the earth. Sometimes you don't even know you're in a new place. You don't even know that things have changed. You may not even realize that things are now new. You don't have to keep doing the old things. He says, so since, which is a better translation, if then you've been raised with Christ, since you've been raised with Christ, seek those things which are above, where Christ sits at the right hand of God. Well, where are you seated? You're seated right there at the right hand of God. You're already over the things that you're trying to conquer. You're already better than the things you're trying to get better at. So since I'm seated in a new seat, set or focus your mind on things above, not on things on the earth. You got better things to worry about than who hates you. You've got better things to worry about than who doesn't support you. You've got better things to worry about than naysayers and haters and what happened and what didn't happen. You've got better things to do. Why not focus on the people who do support you? Why not focus on the people who are willing to help you? Why not focus on the people who are already your amen corner? Focus on those things. Distract your distractions by the desire of your destiny. Where are you trying to go? What are you trying to do? What do you want to see happen? Focus on that. And when you do, it will automatically become a distraction to your distractions. It just will. It just will. It just will. Listen, that's my time today. But if you got anything out of that, I want you to put that in the comments. If you got any questions, I'm going to come back and I'm going to answer those, because this is where it is. I want to see you win. I want to see you win. I want to see you win. Over the last few weeks, a lot of my clients have just been having amazing breakthroughs, more than I could even realize. It's crazy. And their mind is changing. And one of the things they notice is that I'm noticing that my behavior is changing right along with my mind. I'm like, yeah, it has to. Remember, your subconscious mind does not have the power to accept or reject anything that you give it. It has to accept what you give it. So the moment you wake up, you're thinking, you're feeling, and you're choosing, which is equivalent to sowing seeds in the garden. Your conscious mind is your gardener. Your subconscious mind is your garden. What are you planting in your garden? Because whatever you're planting in your garden, how am I planting? By thinking, by feeling, and choosing. And if I dwell on what I'm thinking, if I dwell on what I'm choosing, if I dwell on what I'm feeling, and that's negative, again, my subconscious mind is going to receive that as seed, and then it's going to produce that, and that's going to become a part of my reality. Once you get control of your thoughts and you start thinking about what you're thinking about, things change. Things change. And we do that with a number of practices that can help you. And I'm telling you, you can see changes in as short as 30 days. In as short as 30 days, you can start seeing massive changes. How many of you would love to see changes in 30 days, in a month, or I've even seen it happen in a month or less? Now, back in December, instead of doing 12 days of Christmas, I did 12 days of Discover You. Because again, the God that knows everything lives on the inside of me. I've got access. I've got access to all of that. And I want to know more about myself and who he made me to be. And so I did 12 days of Discover You, 12 different aspects of the mind. I put a resource together for you. It's called the Discover You Mindset Transformation Bundle. And in it, I have tools that help you through the 12 videos that I've done. You've got the 21-day brain detox. You got my book that I wrote back in 2016. It's called Setting Your Mindset, 5 Strategies to Win with Focus. Then you've got my 5 days of breakthrough declarations, where I've taken my best declarations and I teach you how to begin to make those your reality. There are worksheets with that. And then there's a gratitude journal. Why gratitude? It's the highest vibration or the highest feeling that a human being can operate. When you operate with gratitude, everything flows to you. And you get all 12 videos, which are about an hour apiece, and you get all 12 audios. You get it all. You absolutely get it all. So if you just go to danathomasjr.com/12 days mini bundle, guess what? It's still only $47. That's all it is. That's a lot. You get the 12 videos, you get the 12 audios, you get the 21-day brain detox worksheet, you get my book, you get the 5 days of breakthrough declarations journal, and you get a gratitude journal, which is going to help you implement every single thing that I talk about in those videos. You should take a screenshot of this right now, get that resource for you today, start digging through it. Also have a private group that I run, and I'm there every Thursday except the second Thursday, and then all 5th Thursdays once every quarter. It's called Discover You Academy Premier. It's $67 a month. And what I'm doing now, we do that in depth. The first Thursday, we do what I call a Godfidence training, and we get into it. Our theme this month is finding your niche. Amazing. We had some major breakthroughs this past Thursday. Then on the 3rd Thursday, we actually have a mindset masterclass where I bring in an expert that's relative to the theme of that month. And there's an hour and a half conversation we have with that individual, and you get to dig and dig and dig. and grab the gold from the mind of the mind of that individual. And then on fourth Thursdays, we have Q&A where you're able to go a little bit deeper. And then every fifth Thursday, again, once a quarter, I take the time to speak into your lives. So we are marrying the spiritual and the marketplace all together. It's $67 a month. It'll change your life. It's already changed other people's lives. If you want to have mind-shifting moments to recognize your Godfidence, dispel those limiting beliefs that are holding you back, and unlock your being and blueprint and brilliance, Discover You Academy Premier membership is for you. And all you got to do is go to danathomasjr.com/DYA Premier sign up, and you'll get started today. You'll click a link. We'll get you into the group, and then you can start perusing and downloading and just getting all the videos. You can get it all. Just start soaking it all up. All of it is there. We would love for you to be a part of that community. Community is so important, guys. It's so important to be with a group of like-minded individuals that also are trying to make this year the best year. Because remember, God said by this time next year, you're going to do some incredible and some great things. And that's going to make the difference in your life. I'm looking for some of you to make that decision today. I would love to see you in there. All right. Listen, folks, today has been incredible. Please do me a favor. Watch this video again. Share it. Love it if you haven't already loved it. And then do the steps. Remember them. Make them a part of your life. This is Thriving Thursday. We just don't want you to survive. We're done with that. We want you to thrive. And if you would like one-on-one coaching, if you would like it, or even explore what that's like to work one-on-one with me, this year I have the goal of changing 20 lives individually. One-on-one coaching is a lot of hard work, but it's very, very satisfying to see people at the beginning of the year and then every quarter change. And then at the end of the year, they've got all this confidence. They've got all of this vigor, and they're a completely different person, and they excel. They absolutely excel in everything they do. I would love to be your mentor. I would love to be your coach, to see you go from what you can do to what you were created to do. If you just want to have a free 30-minute consultation, the only thing it's going to cost you is 30 minutes. Just please put "that's me." I'm going to inbox you a link where you can set up that appointment according to your schedule, and we want to work with you. Listen, it's been incredible. I can't wait to see you tomorrow for Freedom Friday. Do y'all remember what happened last Friday? I know it's 3 hours, but it was bananas. Made no sense, the stuff that God did. Listen, don't think this is weird. The spiritual and the marketplace are coming together. This is one of my callings. This is one of the things that God has assigned me to do. And so I'm here to help you. I want you to see the things that God put in your spirit. I just don't want them to be a dream. I just don't want you passing them on to your children. I want you to experience what God put in your spirit so that your changed life can change lives. I'll see you tomorrow at 6:30 a.m.